Welcome to the Stephen Rimmer podcast. Today we've got Sophia Oarton, a private client solicitor from our firm, and Lauren Carvalho from You Raise Me Up, a local charity. So each year we send out an email to our staff and they all nominate a charity to support. Then we take the top 3 most voted for charities, put that out again, and charity with the most votes gets our support for the year. We do fundraising, we support events, and this year we chose You Raise Me Up to support. So we brought Lauren in to have a little chat about the work that she does at the charity, and then Sophia will speak about how you can include charitable legacies in your will and different ways that you can sort of maximise IHT savings. So Lauren, over to you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me to come in. So You Raise Me Up was founded in 2011 by the late Jane Brooks and her husband Fraser. They lost their daughter Megan suddenly 9 days before her 18th birthday. Megan collapsed and died from a rare heart complaint that she'd been already signed off for as being fit and well again.
Right.
So they were not expecting to lose Megan. When this happened, as anyone who has lost a child, or lost anyone really, that sudden loss is so devastating that you don't know how to put one foot in front of the other one. But when losing a child, it's so difficult when probably most people around you don't understand exactly how you're feeling, which is how on earth am I going to carry on myself? So what they decided was that they wanted to try and start up a charity whereby they could help other families going through something similar to them by putting people together, ultimately, so that we could talk to each other and just have that support from somebody who does understand. They used to say that when something like this happens, people kept saying, "I just can't imagine what you're going through."
Yeah.
Which is understandable, of course, but there's only so many times that you can hear that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so we can say to people, we do understand what you're going through. So I met Jane a few months after they'd started up the charity. I lost my own son, Adam, my eldest child, who was 19, and I lost him to suicide. This was also out of the blue, and we were not expecting this to happen. So we had lots of money raised at Adam's funeral because we didn't have any flowers, and we wanted to look for a local charity that was involved with young people to donate this money to. So that's how my other son Harry found this charity. So I contacted Jane and donated the money, but she actually asked me to get involved, and we started talking. She asked me then if I'd said that I had thought about training to be a counsellor in the past, and she persuaded me in the way that Jane could persuade people to do things, that I really should do that and start up a counselling service for the charity. So that was 13 years ago in 2011. Right. So that's kind of how it all began.
You got a coffee shop in Polegate High Street?
Yep, so we've now extended quite a lot. So we have offices in Eastbourne with our admin staff, and we have a coffee shop in Polegate, which is well supported and has all kinds of freshly made
it's very tasty
products. Yes, yeah. We do outside catering even, and people can sort of hire it for kind of afternoon teas, that kind of thing. So it's also a support centre. So we run monthly support groups for parents in the evenings once a month.
And is that just somewhere people get together and just talk? Is it?
Yeah, and it's somewhere where people can we have local groups that meet there and use the coffee shop for that in that way. But the support groups for mums, so mums are invited to come along once a month where they can talk to each other. The group is facilitated by myself or another counsellor, and but they can talk to each other about what they're going through.
Is that the same evening every month?
It tends to be a Thursday every month. So, yeah.
You can just go onto your website?
Yeah, they can find details of that on the website. And once families come to us initially, then when we know them, they're sent out information automatically. So sorry, it's not on websites, but it's sent out by email, so they have to kind of sign for the support groups. But we offer one-to-one counselling, and what's unique about us is that we will offer 6 sessions followed by another 6 sessions free of charge. Where necessary, and this does happen, we will, we can sort of go back and get confirmation from the trustees and see if we can get funding for further sessions if we need it. Many of the people that we see are in trauma, and so quite often they may well need several more sessions. Sometimes we are kind of going through even to sort of helping them through inquests, first anniversaries, birthdays, this kind of thing. So we might spread the sessions so that we can encompass and incorporate as many as that. But yeah, funding is the difficult thing for us.
Yes.
So coming on to that.
Yes. Yes, you don't get any government.
We don't get any government funding currently, so we rely on donations and fundraising activities and writing bids to various organisations. But as other charities will know, it's pretty tough at the moment.
Yeah.
So we are so grateful because the parents that come to us are just so broken, just so utterly broken, and trying to find a way of putting one foot in front of the other one, as I said, and having that support with people who do understand what you're going through. It's a very lonely place to be. So families that come to us are often, it's quite common that they will say, we just don't know how we would have got through this without you. And that may be just going into the coffee shop. Our staff are trained in there to kind of, talk empathically to families that go in there. We have it's murals on the wall, 2 trees, and on each tree there is the butterflies with the names of people's children whom they've lost. And we do that very carefully. We invite a family to come in out of hours and we place a butterfly with their child's name on that tree. So they have a sense of belonging to us and to the charity as well afterwards. And it's surprising just how much that helps people to have that connection.
Sophia, what's a good way to leave a legacy for a charity in a will?
So within your will, there's a couple of ways that a person could benefit organisations such as You Raise Me Up, either by leaving a fixed sum of money to the charity, or by including a specific item or gift, potentially something that may remind the charity of their loved one. Sometimes people like to do that, or leaving a share of your estate or your residuary estate to a charity. Generally, funds can be left so that the funds are to support the charity's mission and charitable purposes. But if you wanted to work with the charity in making sure that money could be spent in a specific way to benefit the charity, you can work with the charity to make sure that funds are spent.
What do you find is most popular? Is it legacies where it's a fixed sum? Or?
Yeah, typically legacies. I would suggest most people tend to leave a fixed amount of money to a charity to honour their loved ones and meet charitable aims or intentions that they may have.
Is there any benefit for tax saving, perhaps?
Any money that is left to a charity passes to a charity organisation free of inheritance tax. So the benefit of that is that the charity will receive the precise amount of money or fixed sum that you've dedicated or yet to that charity. There are also tax saving benefits that if you leave more than 10% of your estate to a charity or charities, your estate can pay a reduced amount of inheritance tax. Or indeed, if you wish to leave your entire estate to charity, no inheritance tax will be payable on your estate as well.
Would you advise getting a completely new will if you were going to do that?
So there's certain ways that you can incorporate a gift to a charity. I would suggest if you're looking to leave a charity a sum of money, you can either do that by preparing a codicil to an existing will, or you can certainly start afresh, work with one of our lawyers to prepare a new will to benefit any charities.
And so, from your point of view, what if you don't get government funding, then it's fundraising or it's sort of legacies and people remembering your charity
Absolutely.
in a will.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
quite vital, isn't it?
It really is vital to us continuing and doing the work that we do. So for an example, for a figure to have somebody have counselling for one person for what they need is going to be around £700 for one person. And then support groups that we have as well. That would be in the region of about £500.
So it's even quite a nominal amount. Can make a real difference.
Yeah, any amount will make a real difference, and it's the difference of being able to have another extra couple of sessions if that's and sometimes people will have perhaps their 12 sessions and then have a gap, but then need to come back again. Invariably, these things happen. People go away, and they've talked about what's going on for them, and then something else happens, or something else happens in life that may trigger those emotions. And of course, people come with all sorts of added issues relating to the child that they've lost. So, mental health is obviously a huge issue and concern for everybody at the moment. There are some people who have had children who've had lots of mental health issues that have turned into their death, perhaps by suicide. But then they may have had added complications where there may have been abuse that has led to that person having those mental health issues. And the parent is then trying to deal with all manner of those kind of added complications. Or, as in my case, having no idea why it happened, not having, so all the whys that you're left with. What did I do? What did I miss? The guilt that goes with it, the plethora of emotion from the first one being denial. We have anger, guilt is huge. The final stage is considered to be acceptance, but that's always a difficult one, I think.
I'm sure you never really.
The textbooks tell us, once you get to acceptance, you're there. But actually, can you ever really accept it? It's almost like saying, well, that's okay then.
Yeah.
So you can see there was so many differing emotions, and unlike other kinds of grieving, there isn't, when it's your child, it's not the natural order of things. So there isn't a natural trajectory of that grief. So for many people think, well, once you've been through the first of everything, then things will start to get better and it starts to fade. But actually, the second, third, fourth, fifth has nothing going for them either.
And we were having a little chat before we started recording. You were saying actually you're seeing an increase in child suicide.
Yeah, and suicide in particular. So in the 13 years that we've been going, we've helped over 500 families. And certainly somewhere between 60 to 70% of those have been to suicide. So this is something that I'm specifically involved and passionate about, trying to create more awareness and wanting to do talks, and the charity are wanting to do this as well, getting more involved in prevention work, so that it's not just after something so tragic has happened, because there is a definite increase in those numbers, and teenage suicide in particular is on the increase. Males are still 3 times more than females who take their own lives, generally across all ages. And we think that's because men don't talk about feelings next to No, they don't talk about their feelings. No. However, the female numbers have risen hugely as well in the past 2 years, certainly with the numbers of people that I've been seeing. So, more work needs to be done in prevention, and I certainly believe that can come from talking to parents, teachers, and I can deliver these talks with my personal experience, but also with my professional experience from myself and so many parents who just say, if only we'd known this is what we can look out for. These are things that could be done. It is preventable. So there is a lot that can be done, but unfortunately it just comes down to funding again for us to be able to do this. So we kind of feel that it's everyone's responsibility, really. Nobody wants to be this parent like me sitting here and be in this situation, but there is something that everyone can do to play their part in helping our communities.
So how would someone start the process of getting in touch with us to change their will,
So
add a legacy?
they'd get in contact with us. We would then have a free half-hour, no obligation meeting with that client, have a chat about their needs, their assets, their estate. We would then discuss if they wanted to include any charitable legacies within their wills. We'd look at the estate holistically and see if there are specific assets or items, as I was saying before, that might benefit the charity. And just make sure that it's a right fit for them, for their other beneficiaries or family or loved ones, to make sure that it best works for everybody.
That would, sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
That would be amazing.
Mhm.
That would help us so much with people doing that. And really, I could say thank you in advance to anybody who
Mhm.
does decide to do this. And that's on behalf of hundreds and hundreds of families who are out there who find themselves in this position of feeling so alone and helpless. And so anything like that people can do, they would be making a massive difference to many, many people.
Certainly.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming over.
No problem.
Thanks for coming in.